Welcome to the Talk Sox podcast. I'm Alex, and as always, I'm here with Maddie. What's going on?
Doing well. I'm happy the Red Sox are winning as we're recording.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially after last night. I didn't stay up to watch the bottom of the ninth, but I woke up very disappointed this morning.
Yeah, no, me too. I woke up I fell asleep when the rain delay
Yep.
started, and then I just woke up to my TV that said, "Oh, thanks for watching,"
Uh-huh. Yep.
like at like 2 a.m. And then
Yep.
I checked my phone and I saw they lost, and I said, "Oh, whatever," then went back to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. It I knew as soon as the delay happened that they were probably going to lose that game.
Hmm.
Because people who if you don't know, the flight to Minneapolis was terrible Sunday. They had to stop off in Detroit and then took off in some pretty bad turbulence. Garrett Whitlock is still dealing with fallout from motion sickness because of it. Apparently, Alex Cora slept all the way through it. He said it didn't bother him at all. But then with Chapman having his back issue, the bullpen was really limited last night. So I think that Whitlock maybe could have pitched, um, if absolutely necessary. But I understand Cora sticking with Hicks. But you just kind of knew that if Hicks was going to come back out at all last night, that it wasn't going to go well.
Yeah, just I was listening to a bit of the Fenway rundown earlier today,
Uh
and
huh.
let me pull up his ERA in high leverage situations this year is 33.75.
Oh man, that
um
so
yeah,
I've watched Jordan Hicks for a long time. He came up through with the Cardinals. Um, I have always believed that Hicks could be an effective closer, but I don't know if that's going to happen this year. I think they would take a full off season of work. Um, I think the Giants really screwed him up by trying to convert him back into a starter because he proved when he was with the Blue Jays for that brief stint that he could be a really effective closer. Um, so I think the Giants really kind of mess with his head, and I'm curious to see what Andrew Bailey can do with a full off season with him. Um, I don't anticipate Jordan Hicks is a name that we'll see pop up in trade rumors over the next couple of days. I just don't think there's a market there really at all uh, with that contract, at least. Uh, he was kind of viewed as the way to make the Giants take on all of Devers' salary, for what I understand. And so I think he's here for 2 more years. I don't know.
so
I think there's potential
2027.
there. 2027, yeah. I think there's potential there, but I don't know if we'll see much of it this year. I would prefer to see him in like the sixth inning instead of the ninth inning.
Yeah. Well, I had this split up where yeah, in low leverage situations he's fine. This year he has
Hmm.
a 2.20 ERA. So I mean, as long as they have a sizable lead, I think it's fine. Just yeah, don't put him when the game is on the line.
Yeah. And I think had Chapman not pitched Sunday, Chapman would have been ready to go last night. Um, although he said that he was dealing with that back tightness Saturday night too.
Hmm.
Uh, so I think that that's, or at least he felt it Saturday. So I think that that's something to keep an eye on. Um, it's, I don't know. I know I've been aboard the trade Chapman train for a while, and I'm still kind of there because I think that you would have to be pretty short sighted to not assume that a 37-year-old reliever who's hitting 105 on occasion isn't going to run into some injury issues at some point this season. Um, and so if he's down for any extended amount of time, which if you hear him talk about it, it doesn't sound like he is. But if he's down for any extended amount of time, then I do think that poses a pretty big issue.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, durability is one thing. He wasn't hitting like 105 last year, right?
No, and what he's
Yeah.
gotten up to
So
103 this year, I think. I think that's the fastest he's thrown this year.
that sounds right.
Um, but I don't know. We'll get to trade talk here in a little bit. Um, I don't know about you, Maddie, but I was pretty happy with how the Red Sox came out of the NL leader gauntlet at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
The
there
Dodgers series was a good way to finish it.
absolutely. You don't like dropping 2 of 3 to both the Cubs and the Phillies, but the wins in both of those game threes, I thought were good, gutsy wins. And then to really put it on the Dodgers for a couple of games, and even Friday night's game should have been a game that they won.
You look
Uh,
close at times.
yeah. Um, I saw somebody on Twitter was talking about it was one of the trade Duran things, and somebody was like, he just teed off on one of the generational left hander. And I was like, let's not pretend that this version of Clayton Kershaw is a generational left hander. Like, I like Clayton. I think Clayton Kershaw is awesome. I super respect that he has taken less money to stay with the Dodgers for his entire career. He was there when the team wasn't any good. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but this is not the world beater Clayton Kershaw. Like, let's not hang our hat on that.
Yeah. I like Kershaw. He seems like a good guy.
Yeah,
I think like in 2012, I sent him a card through the mail, and it came back to me signed. So
that's
I
cool.
appreciate that from him. Yeah.
Yeah,
So good dude.
I always
Just
like those kind of stories.
yeah, just yeah. He it's but yeah, 2025 Clayton Kershaw is not 2012.
No, but yeah, I liked a lot of what I saw in that Dodgers series, and I really like. It really seems like this team plays up or down to their competition, which as we get further into the season is a good and a bad thing because the schedule is pretty soft. Um, really starting after this road trip, and that's not to discount the Twins, but the Twins are. It's rumored that they're going to be like the biggest sellers heading into the deadline now, which I kind of thought the Guardians would be with everything that's transpired over the last week and a half. Um, that is just wild. Um, and you're seeing some people say that what the Guardians said was wrong, and because the Guardians came out and said there's nobody else that's being investigated, and you've got some people that are like there are absolutely other names that are going to fall in this. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I figured they'd sell the team. Like,
Just I think well yeah, I was listening to Effectively Wild earlier today. I
mm,
actually finished that whole episode. Meg said something where or said quoted something from Manfred from the All-Star game festivities where he said or something along the lines of what sports betting could lead to some issues but then he specifically mentioned you're more familiar with betting than I am, like specific pitch bets.
yeah.
And I just wondered, did MLB have any inkling of this before it was,
So
announced to the public?
because they had what's the other guy's name that got caught a couple weeks ago?
Ortiz?
Ortiz, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was doing the same thing. It's those same style of non-competitive pitches that got him like flagged. And then they started seeing some weird bets uh, out of Mississippi that lined up almost perfectly with some of that stuff. And then for Class A, it was really, I mean, there you can go on Twitter, Facebook, any social media and find like a supercut of all of his non-competitive pitches from this year, from the past couple of years, really. And it just really seems like if you're gonna take the under on first pitch strikes and then you're just gonna spike one into the ground halfway between the mound and home, like the MLB is gonna look at you.
Maybe try to hide it better.
Yeah,
If you're gonna do it, I mean, you shouldn't do it to begin with.
right. Yeah. It's a shame Pete Rose died before all this came out because he would be having a field day right now. And there's something to be said. DraftKings is a major partner of the MLB now.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And
ESPN bet, all
yeah,
the
ESPN
different
bet, yeah.
services.
And like I've been open with it on this podcast before. Like I enjoy sports betting. I think that if I played professional sports, I wouldn't bet on myself because that would be wrong. Or bet on the game that I play, I guess. But it's crazy to me just how like nonchalant apparently these people were, or they thought that they were good enough to have their buddy, because the Ortiz bets came out of like Mississippi or something. So he was like, yeah, you go make these bets down in Biloxi and, and nobody's going to catch it, instead of like Vegas, I guess. And honestly, I feel had they been made in a Vegas sports book, it probably would have gone further under the radar because there
Mhm.
are so many like big money bets going through Vegas all the time. Whereas like Tunica and all of those like smaller southern towns that have these casinos, like yes, they're busy, but people probably aren't like doing major like thousands of dollars sports bets on Emmanuel Clase's first pitch strikeout out of Tunica, Mississippi. Whereas out of Vegas, yeah, I think that might be a little more, or Atlantic City or something like that. I think that might be a little more palatable out of a bigger town like that. Luckily, so far, there's been no Red Sox that have gotten caught up in that, so that's good.
Well,
Seems to be a Cleveland problem.
oh, well, aren't there a bunch of casinos in Cleveland?
It has been years since I have been there, so I don't
Okay.
and I was like 15, so I wouldn't have been paying attention to the casinos.
That's
Um,
fair. But
but I don't. It just blows my mind. Like you're being paid at minimum hundreds of thousands of dollars to play a game. Like that should be good enough for you.
it's an addiction,
It
and
is. It
yeah,
really is.
I mean, society needs to do better, and
Mhm.
also, you know what? Also, or no, you know what? Also, is another addiction: money. And all these professional sports league have open Pandora's box with partnering with these betting
Yeah.
platforms, and they've made so much money now, and there's
hmm
no turning back.
It's always wild to me when like athletes, and it happens more so from what I've seen in like football than anything else, where they'll post like their DMs after a game where they didn't get 2 touchdowns, but the parlay that somebody took was for them to get 2 touchdowns. And it's like, I hate your guts. You're such a bum. Like they're attacking these professional athletes they've never met in their life because, like you said, they're addicted to gambling, whether they want to admit it or not. And it just absolutely blows my mind. And then to be a professional athlete, like, I mean, I get it. I get that you've got money to play with. And, Michael Jordan was known to be an avid gambler. Um, but he played like blackjack. Uh, he played traditional casino games. Whereas somebody from the Twins just hit a home run off Justin Wilson.
Oh, he's been good too.
He has. So that's
Oh,
disappointing.
yeah. But back to gambling. I feel yeah. I mean, there are traditional ways to gamble, like we have poker, blackjack. What, what's rummy? Is that? Uh,
Um,
can you bet on that?
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
You've got like your standard table games, different forms of poker, um, blackjack, craps, roulette. Um, and then I know like when my wife and I go to Vegas, like I'll play blackjack occasionally for a little bit. But we have fun just like kind of hanging out on like the like cheap slots and just throwing like pennies at them and just winning a couple bucks. Like, and now obviously like we don't have Emmanuel Class A money, so we we're not in the high limit rooms. But I
Well,
think that if you're going to gamble, like, don't gamble on the sport you play.
and when you play those types, or when you gamble on those types of, games, if you lose your money, I mean, you don't have anybody to blame but yourself.
Right.
And and whereas with sports gambling, it just dehumanizes athletes, which, I mean,
Yeah.
well, people can say, "Oh, they make millions of dollars." We're all human at the end of the
Yeah, they're
day.
still
We deal with
people.
issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just you see that then the dehumanization through DMing. There was there was an article, I think, from Gabrielle Starr. She wrote something. Lucas
Mhm.
Giolito has been pretty outspoken against,
Yeah.
gambling.
He met with Rob Manfred about it during the All-Star break, I believe.
Hmm.
And said that Manfred, and over kind of the same thing, like he was getting messages when he wasn't getting 6 strikeouts of people like, you cost me thousands of dollars, and da da da. And he was like, I don't want this to happen. Um, and the conversation around it was like, well, it's going to take like some crazy person hurting an athlete because their parlay didn't hit for somebody to take it seriously. And I got to thinking, I was like, honestly, I don't even know if that would do it. Um, I think that it's going to take like a GM or an owner for baseball or Rob Man. And I'm not advocating for this. I don't want that to come off this way, but I think it's going to take something like that for these sports, these professional leagues to start taking it seriously. That yeah, like while sports betting does, like it pumps money into states and it, helps line your pocket. Like it is ruining some people's lives. And some people are crazy enough to take it out on one of those people. And I think that's a real threat. And I'm a little surprised it hasn't happened yet, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, I don't wanna speak anything into
I
existence,
know, and
so
that's the thing,
yeah,
but when you mess with people's money, like people get nuts. And
yeah,
whether it's their
yeah.
I mean, it's your own fault for making the bet. And and like I've said, my wife and I, we go out to Vegas and we enjoy our time out there, and I sports bet, but I don't do it that much. And I noticed last year when I was doing it, like if I like picked Red Sox players, I stopped enjoying watching the game because I was like, oh, I really need Duran to steal a base. So every time he was on base, I was like, oh, there's somebody on second, so he's not going to steal. Like, I found myself getting frustrated because I was watching the game, but I was watching it just for my own gain at the end of the day. And one day I was like, that's just not fun. That's not why I like baseball. I don't like baseball to watch and hope that Duran steals a base or Hamilton hits a double or whatever. And so I just kind of stopped doing it. Um, and I have kind of rediscovered my love for baseball through that because I don't, it doesn't have a monetary value to me. It's not, I didn't get into baseball because I was trying to win money. I got into baseball because I love the game. And that really, once I kind of realized that and stopped putting stock into things like sports betting, it really, it did. It really, like, I rediscovered my love and passion for it. And it's been great. Um, but I know that there are a lot of stories that aren't like that and they can't make that clean cut and that clean break. Um, I've got some buddies that are pretty heavily into sports betting and they're doing like 8 leg parlays and all of this different stuff. And when they hit big. But when they don't hit, they lose a lot of money very quickly. And it's just not for me. I I don't like losing money for no reason.
That's fair.
Yeah. And and to each their own, I guess, but it is just mind blowing that now 2 members of the Guardians have been caught, likely caught, um, betting really against themselves. I don't know if they thought that that would kind of hide it a little more, but that seems to kind of be the thought process, I guess. And it's wild to me. Like I said, luckily, at least so far, no Red Sox players have been caught up in it. And you would hope that if they have been, that they have stopped now that people have been caught. Because that would be a blow that really I don't think the team could bounce back from, especially if it was a big name. They would be terrible.
I don't see anybody on the roster doing that. I was thinking about this yesterday, and the team just seems like there are a bunch of really good guys on the roster.
Yeah.
You know, there's last year was, I mean, we still had some of the same players, but I didn't like that team as much as I do this year.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
It does beg the question if Connor Wong was tanking for the first half of the season
Whoa, whoa,
just to
whoa.
take his
No.
overs so high so he could just rake in the money.
Not the conspiracy theory about Connor Wong.
Connor Wong's been playing the long game this whole time.
Oh.
He's just lying in his pockets.
He did have his first extra base hit of the season
I
on,
was so
what was it,
excited.
Sunday? Yeah.
Fenway went crazy when that happened. That was really cool to hear, and that it made him feel really good to have the
Yeah.
stadium just cheer so loud. And that next at bat, it looked like he had a homer.
Mm-hmm.
It ended up being a Fenway single, but I mean, he's put in some better swings on the ball. If that continues to happen, maybe backup catcher isn't a position that needs to be addressed like we've thought it needed to be the whole season. I'm very curious. So tomorrow, Wednesday, is the last game of this Twin series, and the
It's a
Sox.
day game too.
And it is. It starts at noon Central Time, which is awesome. But so the team's going to be off on Thursday during the trade deadline, so there's not going to be any weird Christian Vasquez just has to walk across the diamond situation. Although that happened during the Blue Jays Orioles doubleheader today. There was a guy, he was traded in between games, so that was fun. But coming into Friday, of course, with whatever additions the Red Sox may or may not make, it's the Astros at home. The Astros are leading the AL West right now, and that's really the last good team the Red Sox play until the middle of September. August is a pretty good cakewalk. You've got the Orioles, the A's, the Marlins. Although the A's did just sweep the Astros, but I think that says more about what the Astros are doing than what the A's are doing.
Well, they play the Padres August 8th or 10th. That could go either way. They're also in San Diego.
I will tell you from watching the Padres last week, because I was at that Cardinals series, that the Padres don't look good. It's really hard to describe it. Tatis is Tatis. Just flailing at pitches that are nowhere near the zone. A lot of strikeouts. I understand their fascination with Jarren Duran, especially with the turnaround he's had in the month of July. And I think that if he were to go to San Diego, that would kind of completely revamp that outfield situation and add a shot of energy. But apparently he's not going anywhere unless Preller goes nuts, which he definitely could. AJ Preller is known to do that. But that Padre series doesn't worry me that much. It'll be cool. I'll be honest. That's right when back to school stuff is getting going for me. So I will not be staying up to watch any of that Padres series. I might start game one. I might watch the first couple of innings just to hear Orsillo call some Red Sox stuff again. And to see Bogey bat against his former team. But I think that's really the only, outside of the Astros, the Padres are really the only quote unquote good team that they're playing for a while. So there's a lot of space to make some noise in both the wild card and the AL East. The Blue Jays are good, but you always kind of assume the Blue Jays are going to fall back to earth at some point. They always seem to crash come the middle of August.
That's fair.
So just kind of waiting for the inevitable fall off. If this, according to Aaron Judge, this injury isn't going to keep him sidelined for very long. But if it does, the Yankees are in trouble.
Their lineup looks so different without Judge. Like, there's
Yeah.
nobody that like really scares me. I mean, Stanton might get one home run in that series, but he should not be
All they have
playing
to
the
do is
field.
throw low and away sliders,
Yeah, and yeah, just
and he'll swing at every one
defensively.
of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I will say Stanton. I view him as a Marlin more than a
Yeah.
Yankee,
Yeah.
and I like the guy. I don't like the team he plays for. So
Yeah. That I've never disliked Giancarlo Stanton. Uh, there are players that I've always actively disliked. Garrett Cole as a Pirate, as an Astro, and now as a Yankee. Like, I cannot stand him. I never could. Uh, I do like Max Fried. So seeing him have success
yeah,
in New York kind of
yeah,
stinks, especially
yeah,
with,
that's a blow.
it came out how close the Red Sox were to landing him. That if they'd have given him one more year, he'd be in Boston right now. But
The rotation would be so different. We probably wouldn't even be talking about trading for Joe Ryan if Max Fried was in the rotation.
oh yeah, for sure. Um, you likely, because it's come out that the plan was to sign Freed and still trade for Crochet. So likely Walker Buehler never shows up in Boston. He goes somewhere else.
To terrorize another team.
Right. It Man, I wanted Walker Buehler to be so good.
I was rooting for him, and then
And it's just been
yeah,
his fourth inning ERA is over 15.
that's
It's wild. It is absolutely wild.
I wish we had
Yeah.
some sponsor for the fourth inning, so then it like the Rab fourth inning.
If Walker Buehler gives up 6 runs in the fourth,
You win a free Toyota.
they'd give away a ton of them this year.
I think it's rolling off the assembly line.
Yeah. You just go to the factory and you're like, I just want that one. But I do. I think there's a lot of room in the schedule. Because really, I mean, we play the Blue Jays to end the season.
Well, we play the Tigers to end the season.
Yes, we play the Blue Jays the series before.
Yeah, in Toronto.
And yes, in Toronto. So, Rogers Center is just always a peach for visiting teams. But you have to hope that that is the series that determines the AL East. If that's the case, and there's a lot of conversation around, like, especially after the Marcelo injury, like, why doesn't the team just punt on this year? Why are they trying to make this push? Like, there's something to be said for getting Roman and Marcelo when he's back, and Narvaez and Crochet, and Bayo some playoff reps. Like, even if they go into the first round and lose, getting to October, playing meaningful baseball in September is a big deal for such a young team. You wish guys like Tristan Casas were active to be able to be part of that, to get that experience. Duran was around in 21, but he wasn't this version of Jarren Duran. Wilyer Abreu obviously wasn't with the team. Sedon wasn't with the team. The only experience you have, realistically, is Alex Bregman. And that's a lot of experience. He is a winner.
He's the perfect leader to shepherd these young guys into the
Yeah.
postseason.
And I really hope that once we get through the trade deadline that they lock him into an actual extension with that Devers money that they've saved. I would at this point, especially watching Devers play first, I'm glad that hasn't happened, that never happened in Boston.
Yeah.
because that's embarrassing. Um, but I don't care if it takes most of that to get him here for the rest of his career. Well, if you lock him into a 5, 6, 7 year deal to keep him here through retirement, Alex Bregman is likely going into the Hall of Fame. And if you do that, he will go into the Hall of Fame wearing a Red Sox hat.
Hmm. 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 Cool. Huh.
I will almost guarantee.
Huh. Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because to him,
Yeah.
Houston turned their back on him. Like, yes, that's where he's won championships so far. That's where he won his Gold Glove. But they turned their back on him, and then came crawling back when it looked like they needed to fill that spot. And he was like, "No, I'm gonna play literally anywhere else." Um, and I think that if Bregman signs long term, you've got Crochet here long term. If there is a deal to be made for a Joe Ryan, for Paul Skeens, um, you lock them in long term.
Paul Skeens.
I was wondering when you'd catch that.
um, well, you have Bayo too, Whitlock. We haven't talked about him yet, but he's become a lights out reliever. Just yeah,
Yeah,
like since the
yeah.
beginning of the month.
I think there's all the talk of Hicks is going to be the closer of the future, and that's why they brought him here. And while that might be in him, and we've talked about this a lot on this podcast, like Garrett Whitlock could easily be the closer of this team. He's already pitched tonight. I did see him in last inning. Uh, when I peeked back, I'm almost positive it was Whitlock. I'm kind of sitting like directly down from my TV, but it looked like him on the bump. Um, in the event that they trade Aroldis Chapman, which I don't think is crazy, then I think that you could see Garrett Whitlock slide into that closer role, and I would feel pretty comfortable there. Yeah, it was Whitlock in the eighth. So I'm curious who they're going to try out for the night.
So, do you think teams would be willing to bite for Chapman if with this back issue?
I think that if the Red Sox make Aroldis Chapman available, that will be the biggest return straight up for one player at the trade deadline.
That's fair. Yeah.
Because if you
Huh.
have even one other piece in your bullpen that can close once or twice a week, and you can just kind of stretch him out until October. I mean, like we've talked about in here, he netted the Royals Cole Reagans. And Reagans was still like he had been called up, but he was pitching out of the Rangers bullpen at that point. When he's healthy, he is their ace without a doubt. I've always said that I don't think you get a Cole Reagans for him again. I don't think that that's untrue. I don't think that's true anymore. I think that with this being such a seller's market, I think you would have a number of teams that would be in on Chapman. The Astros have Josh Hader. They don't need Aroldis Chapman. But your fringe playoff teams, your wild card teams that hope that they can be the Diamondbacks of 2 years ago, I think they would throw an insane amount at the Red Sox to have Aroldis Chapman on their roster. And I just had a piece come out today about this. I identified three major leaguers that I thought would be kind of the names off the board. And it was Chapman, Buehler, just because I think they want Buehler gone. And I think David Hamilton is somebody that could really. We know the Yankees have interest on him. I don't want to send him to the Yankees. If it's send him to the Yankees or keep him, I think you keep him just for the late game, Dave Roberts style pinch running.
Yeah, he would turn into a beast on the Yankees, knowing
Yeah,
that
that
we
short
fleeced
porch would
them.
do so well.
Yeah. Yeah, the Red Sox have fleeced the Yankees way too many times, and karma needs to. That would be karma.
Yeah, and it would come in the form of David Hamilton.
And like I don't want to think
No,
about that.
no. And so I think that if that's the one option on the table is to send him to the Yankees, keep him. There's no
Mhm.
reason to there's no reason to trade him in division. Um,
Well, did Hamilton come from the
Brewers.
Brewers? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder. Well, aren't the Cardinals kind of tanking?
Yeah, the Cardinals are out of it.
Okay. Yeah. Never
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
No Heim reunion there.
No. I wouldn't say no. Um, because David Hamilton is a move that I think that both playoff contenders and non-contenders would make this year. He's not a free agent until 2030. Um, so there's a
How old
lot
is
of
he?
control left. 27.
Huh. Hmm.
But he's a late bloomer.
Okay.
Um, I could see Heim. I could see Heim getting in the mix there. I love JoJo Romero out of St. Louis. He's a lefty, seventh, eighth inning specialist. Um, the kid has got an energy that is unmatched, and it is wasted on a team like the Cardinals right now.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think if you're wanting to add an arm to the pen to go along with Alcala, who has not looked sharp his last couple of outings, but has been really, really good since coming over from the Twins. Um, and then you've got Murphy back, but I think that if you added JoJo, I think he would be a lock. Like he would lock that bullpen in. Now he is left-handed, um, and you've already got three right now with Chapman, Wilson, and Bernardino. Bernardino has options left, and I think at some point you're going to have to use one because he just looks burned. Um, and I like
And
Bernardino a lot, but he looks like a shell of himself.
he did record his first save on Wednesday night.
Yes,
So
yes, he did.
kudos to him. That was like I was so stressed watching that at bat in
Yeah,
person. Just like
I can
Kepler,
imagine.
like yeah, just I was like, oh my god, like if they lose this game to freaking Max Kepler, I'm gonna like rip my hair out and like scream like with like all these people around. But yeah, he struck out looking at like the same pitch Bernardino threw for that
Yeah,
at bat. So and
yeah,
good for him. Okay. I'm looking at Jojo Romero. Stats look good.
yeah.
But I'm gonna go down a little weird rabbit hole here. And
Okay.
this was brought up in the Slack channel with Craig's draft picks, if
Yeah.
you'll call him that. Romero is 5'11
Yeah,
and
he doesn't fit the
th-
mold.
he doesn't fit the mold. The shortest pitcher on the roster is
Yeah.
Liam Hendricks and not Jorge Alcala, Luis Guerrero. I mean they're 6 foot, so
I think that if Breslow could have his pick of anybody, he would trade for Ben Joyce. Uh, because Ben is a behemoth of a player. Um, his ERA is terrible this year. He's hurt.
yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, he only appeared in 5 games, 3 earned runs, with a 6.23 ERA. Uh, but he hit 105 on the gun uh, last season. Um, he's 6'5". He played at Tennessee, so he fits the SEC mold that Breslow seems to really like. So, and it looks like he just maybe came back. Um, let's look at his. Yeah, he's got a negative -0.3 WAR on the season.
Oh no.
One strikeout. No, okay, so he's been out for. So MLB's got their stats really weird because they had him pitching within the week, which hasn't happened because he hasn't thrown since April 8th. Um, but is he having Tommy John? Yeah. Or no, a torn labrum. So shoulder. Yeah, so he had shoulder surgery in May, and is out for the remainder of 25. But he plays for the Angels, so he'll probably be available at some point.
Well, the Angels swept the Red Sox once, and they almost did it 2 times.
Yeah,
If not for the 199-foot walk-off home run from
right.
Cedon.
Yeah, that kick started his season.
This might be a hot take. I don't think the Red Sox bullpen really needs help at the deadline because there are internal options maybe you move Richard Fitz to the bullpen. He hasn't been.
I think you have to at this point.
Yeah, he just hasn't been good in the rotation this year.
He's good for 2 innings.
Yeah,
out of the bullpen, that's fine.
Yeah, just yeah, and Hulk, even if he ever comes back this year,
I don't think we'll see him.
You know the meme, never ask a man his salary, where Tanner Hulk is, or even Vaughn Grissom.
Did you see Mass Live posted it earlier? He's a little snarky.
Oh yeah, I saw that one quote.
I think I've run out of options here or something.
I don't
Hold on, let me
really
find
expect
it.
much more
Yes.
opportunity.
Yes, that's what it is.
I
So I feel like Vaughn's probably going to get traded.
I don't. To be honest, I would be salty if I was on a hot streak and David Hamilton was called up before I was. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I
just
understand that. Yeah.
And Hamilton kind of is one of Cora's favorites, so I mean that's
Yeah.
but he is useful just for pinch running late in the game. He
That's the
shouldn't
thing.
be starting.
And I get he's up here because Marcelo's on the IL, and I don't like how quiet they've been about that.
Too quiet.
That worries me. You've got people that you've never heard of on Twitter that are like, "Oh, we're hearing that Marcelo's going to be out for the remainder of the year." Like, where are you hearing these things? Like I've never heard of you, so but I mean, I get why Hamilton's up, but I think I understand why they pulled him up over Vaughn. Hamilton, for better or worse, is an actual second baseman, and he's not a terrible second baseman. I mean, he's not Marcelo, and I would rather have Romy out there, but you've got a platoon Romy, and Romy's already in one platoon. So he's in 1.5 when he plays third every now and then. So I don't know if you could put him in 2.5 platoons and have him be successful. Looks like Alcala's closing the game out.
They have a 5-run lead now. Hopefully he doesn't blow
you
it
would
up.
hope, but he's down 2-0.
Okay. Wait, he's 3-1 now. Oh
gosh, to Christian. I wonder if he's just struggling, like going back to the Twins.
Yeah,
like
running into
going back to the team that gave up on you effectively. But like I say, he's been really good since we got him. Just his last 2 appearances have not been good at all. But I think I do understand why Hamilton was the pick over Grissom. While Grissom hits for more power, Hamilton will run into one every now and then, and Grissom's not going to pinch run for you off the bench.
That's fair.
I mean, he's got a little speed, but I think Cora is playing the we have to win and we have to win right now game. And Hamilton has proven that he can hit major league hit pitching in the past. whereas Vaughn Grissom has never had a successful track record in the majors.
He had like a 285 average, I think, with the Braves. Was that, I want to say 2022? I mean, he's part of that meme, if you're familiar with it, where it's the last at bat of
Oh
Super.
yeah,
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 he's the one with the Braves
yes,
in
okay,
2022. Yeah, 2022.
yeah, it,
That's one good season, and I mean, with the Red
right,
Sox, he hasn't shown it in two. So,
yeah, yeah. It's his second full season.
mhm.
Uh, yeah, I don't think that he's long for the team. It wouldn't shock me if his name is included in something over these next couple of days. Um, is there any target? Let's say the realistic target. You can't go trade for Max Fried. Um, is there a name that you hope shows up with the Red Sox over these next 2 days?
Realistically is where my answer is, where I'm struggling to find an answer.
Uh-huh.
Um, I it I think it really depends on how this twin series goes. I mean, well, we're winning. Uh, knock on wood, unless they blow this lead, I
Well,
think
it
we
looks
have a
like
good
Story just misplayed a ball. So
yeah, oh, one out, so May on first. Well, just looking at who's pitching tomorrow. Oh, Bayo. Okay, so
yeah, and the
Bayo
Twins are
versus
doing a bullpen game tomorrow, I think.
I'm optimistic that the Red Sox will win this series. So
Yeah, I think so.
I think the Twins hold all the chips this trade deadline. I mean, they have a lot of bullpen pieces that teams are interested in.
A
I mean, they
Duran for
show
Duran swap.
that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be great.
But again, I don't know how much to trust. Whenever these new think tidbits come out, like
Yeah,
we're not trading. Well, I get it though because Marcelo's injured, so that doesn't seem likely now.
yeah,
I mean, I
yeah.
think
With
Joe
everything,
Ryan. I, I mean, I had a
I think
piece on
that's like,
that.
yeah, that's like, I think Joe Ryan is like the prized
The
pit.
crown
Like he's like,
jewel.
yeah, he's like the dude that if you could add one thing to your team, I somebody just hit a home run.
Oh God.
So it's a 3-run game now.
Brooks Lee.
Didn't he hit one earlier too?
Did he? Huh.
Maybe. Maybe the bullpen is something that needs to be addressed if Alcala's given. Uh,
uh, um.
yeah, I think Joe Ryan is like the if you could pick one player just to auto drop onto the Red Sox, Joe Ryan's that guy. I love Edward Cabrera, and there were some reports that came out today that both the Red Sox and the Cubs are kind of kicking the tires on that, which the Cubs are in on everybody. Um, I would love a Mackenzie Gore deal. I don't think that that's realistic at the deadline. I think that's an off-season type move. But Merrill Kelly, I think is a very realistic target uh, for the Red Sox, and I think he makes a lot of sense. Um, there was hope of like a Naylor Kelly or Naylor Gallen deal, but that's obviously not going to happen. And I don't think that Suarez makes a lot of sense in Boston, um, unless you're
Not if
going to
they're
have
trying
Alex
to lock
Bregman
up.
play first base.
Yeah, I feel like that would ruffle some feathers with him. Just
Well, they've already done it once, Maddie. They've signed a third baseman while they had a third baseman.
No, you're not wrong. Um, it,
But
yeah.
I think that Alex Bregman already has a higher standing in the clubhouse than Rafael Devers did.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. just Devers used to be like one of Cora's favorite players, and to see that unravel without
Yeah,
us really knowing, I guess, is crazy to think about.
yeah. Because it had to go south behind the scenes so quickly. And we're not going to sit here and harp on Devers in that
Yeah.
trade. I do think that we'll see Harrison up at some point this year. Um, he's looked a lot better at AAA now that his pitch mix they've kind of figured out and they've tinkered with his mechanics a little bit. Um, but I want to see him up as a starter. I don't want to see him come up in the bullpen. Um, so if there's a way that he's not up this year, it's because hopefully we've dealt for a Merrill Kelly, uh, Paul Skeens, somebody of that nature. I would give up half the roster for Paul Skeens. I would trade back for Rafael Devers just to send him to Pittsburgh to get Paul Skeens on this roster.
No, I don't disagree with you. Yeah, I would, but uh,
Anthony and Crochet are the only two names I would not trade for Paul Skeens.
yeah, I'd be willing to part with Marcelo for Skeens.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
today,
I,
right now.
I- I- yeah.
David
Yeah, throw
Hamilton, welcome to
yeah,
Pittsburgh.
Throw Von Grissom in there.
Yeah,
Oh
I do. I think
shoot.
Merrill Kelly is a real option. If they do what I think is the correct path and trade Aroldis Chapman, I would love to see them bring in Ryan Helsley. Um,
Hmm.
he's it's like a 3.5 ERA on the season. But he's a rental, so he wouldn't be uber expensive. I think he would fit well in Boston. I really do. Despite him having an obvious case of the yips during that Cardinals series in April. Um, man, it I was sitting in class during that series, that first game of that series, because that first game, Chapman is on the bump.
Against Mickey Gasper.
Oh, the McMahon, Red Sox legend, whose parents sat at Fenway for weeks waiting for him to get his first major league hit.
Poor guy.
I like Mickey Gasper. Look what there's 2 outs, man on. I mean, Gasper's got a nice mustache. I like that mustache.
I I usually
It's no
like a
Romy.
mustache. Yeah, it's no Roman, but there's something about Mickey Gasper's mustache. Maybe it's the person that I just don't jive with. Oh, good, he's out.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I'm like a second behind you, but yes. um.
I don't know
Yeah,
what
I
it
feel
is,
pretty
man.
confident. Huh?
I don't know what it is about Mickey Gasper, but
He looks like he should have been playing in like the 1920s,
yeah, put
and
on
have
the
a
yeah.
name like Grasshopper Gasper, like
With those wool
something like that.
uniforms.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I
yeah.
can see it.
I think that's who Mickey Gasper should have been. And but getting back to I'm with you. I think the Red Sox are going to win this Twin Series tomorrow, and I think that will kind of dictate what they do. Um, I do. I think Merrill Kelly makes a ton of sense. I think Ryan Helsley makes a ton of sense. Um, they seem to be content with the Toro Romy platoon at first. Um, you do have to wonder if they need to add a first baseman if Marcelo is going to be out for an extended amount of time to let Romy play second a little more because Toro has come back down to earth.
Yeah,
And
I'm
Romy has
looking
started to too.
a little. Yeah, you're not wrong there. Yeah, Toro's batting 233
Yeah.
for the month of July. It's 61 WRC plus. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and his defense too, just and base running frustrates me.
The base running is what gets me more than anything else. I can take being a subpar first base defender, as long as you can pick and you can stretch out, which he's proven to be pretty good at making those big stretch plays.
He's
I
putting in
think,
his effort when he's stretching,
yeah.
so yeah.
Um, but the base running mistakes are just, they're getting to a point that it's like comical in the bad way.
Yeah.
Like you're watching like a very like obviously new comedian on stage that's just bombing, but you
Yeah.
can't stop watching him. That's what I feel like watching Abraham Toro run the bases is. Like you
Yeah.
know he's going to do something stupid very soon. So I wouldn't hate bringing on a first baseman, just to kind of replace him in that platoon. I wrote a piece about Ryan O'Hearn. He's not been good in the month of July, so I don't know if that's the answer.
I mean, if the Red Sox are trading for anybody from the Orioles,
Hadley.
rather have it be O'Hearn than geriatric Charlie Morton.
Oh my gosh, when that rumor came out, I was like, if they trade for Charlie Morton, Craig is Heim 2.0.
Yeah. Well, they did sign Rich Hill last year, and he is available
He is a
again
free agent
now.
again. He just got DFA'd by the Royals. Uh, I'll be honest with you. If there's a playoff run coming, I would not hate putting Rich Hill on this roster. He's going to throw like 80 miles an hour, but I've always liked Rich Hill. He's got
Yeah,
one of
he's
the
a
best
good guy.
nicknames in baseball.
That too.
But
I-
this is a family show.
yeah. Two riches possibly on the roster.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, I would take Rich Hill over Liam Hendricks,
Yeah, no, I don't disagree
who is
there.
throwing again.
I He mentioned that before the one game where they um with the charity project or no
The
charity organization.
Heroes, yeah.
Yeah.
The
And
Hero Run,
yeah, and
yeah.
I love Liam Hendricks as a person. He seems like
Mhm.
a really, really quality, just a quality and honorable dude. But his pitching, on the other hand, is just
Yeah.
atrocious to watch in 2025. And he
He's done.
used to be good. And
Yeah.
he's dealt with a lot of health issues throughout his life, and it's cool that he's bounced back from them,
One of the best stories you will hear in baseball is Liam Hendricks,
for sure.
but he's done. It looks like Slayton will begin a throwing program sometime within the next week, from what I've heard, which is great. Apparently, like his shoulder fatigue was way worse than they thought it was. Uh, I can't wait to get him back. He was on a tear when he went down. I know he had a he had a rough stretch right after a really good stretch. So people were kind of down on him, but uh, I'm excited for Slayton to get back and to be a contributing member of this roster down the road. Um, Hopefully, as they prepare for a playoff push. But it's going to be an interesting, a little less than 48 hours.
For sure. Craig is like, we talked about this the last episode where Craig said they'd be, buyers, and then he kind of
Mm-hmm.
backtracked. And I honestly think the team can do whatever they want. I mean, they have the prospect capital to go big. But then they could, you know, hold back. They could maybe like last year where they sell and buy
On the
and
fringes.
yeah, or do nothing.
One thing that I do want to talk about, um, just real quick, I need to find it in our Slack channel. Yeah, the list of names from Jen McCaffrey, the high likelihood names to be traded, Miguel Blaze Jordan, and the password are all considered very high likelihood to be moved. Peyton Tolley is listed as a low chance. And then friend of the podcast, David Sandlin, Connolly Early, Christian Campbell, and Arias are all listed as a medium likelihood to be moved.
Huh. Wait. Campbell?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I I see both ways. I just wonder if Campbell would be traded, how that would affect extending Roman.
Yeah, and I don't see Campbell being traded because he is the poster boy for what they want a Red Sox player to be. I'll play wherever you want me to play. I'll do whatever you need me to do. I just want to win.
Yeah, hard hit rate too, barrel rate. He exemplifies all that.
Yeah.
So,
So it's gonna be an interesting 48 hours. I don't know. It's gonna be. I'm always excited for the trade deadline, but this year feels different. It's the first time in a long time that I'm excited because I think the Red Sox are going to make meaningful moves that not only improve the team this season, but for the foreseeable future. And I think that Heim got what, 3 trade deadlines. This will be Craig's second. I think that if Craig fumbles this, then I think we have a new Pobo next season.
huh. Hmm. What was the average tenure for Red Sox GMs?
Isn't it
What
4
was it?
years?
40 years.
They've
Huh.
had more GMs in the last 15 years than most teams have had in like the last 25 or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see. I'm hoping nothing happens once we get done recording because I am going to bed. I'll never forget during the winter meetings 2 seasons ago, I went to bed with the push notification that Xander Bogaerts is returning to the Red Sox and woke up to check the contract and to see that Bogaerts had signed with the Padres. And I
Oh
called into
no.
work. I was so mad.
Oh. Yeah, that's a very reasonable excuse to call off work.
Because everything that came out that night before was like, Bogey's coming back. It's a great deal. It's both sides are happy. Bogey's going to be a Red Sox forever. And then I wake up and Xander Bogaerts has signed a 12-year deal with the Padres. I'm like, what are we doing? I was so upset.
I felt like a part of my childhood was ripped away when
Yeah.
Bogey left the Red Sox.
Yeah. Well, our next episode will be, of course, after the trade deadline. And we'll react to the Astro series and any new additions that the Red Sox have. And hopefully it's some upper level pitching, but we'll see. You
Take
have any
care.
final thoughts, Maddie?
Oh, I trust Craig. A lot of us had knee-jerk reactions when he traded Devers to the Giants, but now things are looking a lot better. So I have faith in him.
Yeah. Yeah. I really want to see what he does this trade deadline to see if he can kind of land the big fish, so to speak. Because, like I said, this Red Sox team feels very different this year. And I do. I trust Craig Breslow to improve the team and now and for the next few seasons. You know, Crochet wasn't going to negotiate a new deal once the season started, and lo and behold, they got it done. So if Craig is bringing somebody on, which I think that he will, I think that the Red Sox will be involved in something big. And I'm considering Merrill Kelly a big addition. I think that's a thing that pushes the Red Sox over the edge. It wouldn't shock me for whoever gets dealt to the Red Sox to be extended pretty quickly.
Even Kelly? He's kind of
I think
old.
you give Kelly a 2-year deal.
Okay.
Keep him here for a couple of years. While that window's open, he's playoff proven.
Mm-hmm.
So he may be the one that I could see not, but I mean, if you're trading for a Joe Ryan, Paul Skeens, somebody like that, Mason Miller has been my white whale forever, ever since he broke onto the scene. Get him extended, keep him here long term, and go win championships. That's my final thought. Make a big trade, lock him in long term, win titles. That's what I want to happen.
The Braves did that.
I mean, it's all falling apart now, but it was good while it
lasted. Drake Baldwin might win NL Rookie of the Year. So
yeah, Jay Willie with the A's, broken forearm. He is on the IL. I saw
Jacob
that earlier
Wilson?
today. Yeah,
I've never heard Jay Willie before. Huh?
that's what Dallas Braden calls him on Baseball is Dead. So
Okay.
I've just kind of adopted that, I suppose. But yeah, he broken forearm. So, I mean, I think Kurtz is gonna. I thought Kurtz was gonna win AL Rookie of the Year over him anyway, but I think now it's Kurtz to lose. But Roman Anthony is making a pretty
strong
good case to come in second now, which would lose a year of control for the Red Sox. So,
yeah. Huh. Well.
yep.
I mean, as a fellow Lancaster County native, despite me being a Red Sox fan, I'm hoping Big Amish comes
Go
through with
Kurtz.
the
Yeah.
I love that nickname so much.
Yeah. That's about, was it Matt Adams was Big City back in the day? That's a dumb
Yeah.
nickname.
Yeah, but Big Amish,
Big Amish
though.
it's great.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of cousins marrying each other among the Amish, so they're all pretty malnourished, and
Yeah.
it's just it's ironic. So go Nick.
Kurtz for AL Rookie of the Year is how we will close out this episode of the Sox podcast. Thanks for listening. It's going to be a fun couple of days. Stay tuned to the website because we will be covering everything that the Red Sox do over the next couple of days. So make sure you pay attention, and we'll see you guys next episode. Have a good one.